Before I start with the Collab event summary, I'd like to thank all of you for helping me reach this milestone of 500 subscribers. Hopefully the channel will be able to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon with the content I'm producing. If anything, especially with the possibility of Project Neural Cloud coming to the global server and whatever Arknight's endfield will be, I'll just have more content to make. I'd also like to mention that I have a Twitter account, so feel free to follow me there if you want to know when I've posted a video or see my takes on new content in non-video form. Thanks. To give a brief summary as to what Quad S.GRIDMAN and Quad S.DYNAZENON is to people who are unfamiliar with it, Quad S.GRIDMAN and Quad S.DYNAZENON are animes produced by Studio Trigger and Suburaya Productions released in 2018 and 2021 respectively. Quad S.GRIDMAN and Quad S.DYNAZENON are based off the 1993 Japanese Giant Hero series titled Gridman the Hyper Agent, and is similar to Ultraman in series as it shares the same parent company of Suburaya. Quad S.GRIDMAN follows Yuta Hibiki, a first-year high school student living in Sutsujidai, who wakes one morning without his memories. Yuta later meets Hyper Agent Gridman inside an old computer, who tells Yuta to fulfill his purpose. With assistance from his classmates Sho Utsumi, Rikka Takarada, and Akane Shinjo, Yuta tries to understand the meaning of Gridman's words while fighting giant monsters. Quad S.DYNAZENON follows in a similar vein, following Yamogi Asanka, a first-year high school student at Fujiyokidai, who meets a mysterious man named Galman, who claims to be a kaiju user. A kaiju and a Dynazenon appear suddenly, with Yamogi, Yume Minami, Kiyomi Yamanaka, and Chise Asukagawa also being caught up in the kaiju battle. Since Azur Lane only has women as playable characters, only the characters of Akane Shinjo, Chise Asukagawa, Rikka Takarada, Yume Minami, Haas, Mujina, and Namiko are available as ship girls, along with unique pieces of equipment that reflect the mechs or kaiju from the series. This event summary will be split up into 4 parts. 1. Summary of story. 2. Profiles of event ship girls. 3. Analyses of event equipment. And 4. My opinion on the event as a whole. The story begins in a classroom with USS Memphis, HMS Edinburgh, 2 unknown girls, and a suspicious-looking teacher. Edinburgh is napping in the classroom, while the teacher is asking a question to the class. Memphis tries to wake Edinburgh, with the 2 other girls commenting on her free-spiritedness. The teacher snaps at Edinburgh, waking her instantly, and then asks her to answer the question on the board. Edinburgh chooses answer B and gets the question correct, with the teacher telling her to manage her time better so that she doesn't fall asleep in class. She then falls asleep again. A bell rings signaling lunchtime, and Miss Purity, the teacher, dismisses the class. Yume asks if Edinburgh was feeling alright, with her responding that she was just spacing out. Memphis rats Edinburgh out, accusing her of staying up late to play video games, to which Edinburgh admits that she did. Before she starts to eat, Edinburgh realizes that she forgot to pack her lunch, with KMS Rune offering to share hers. Before saying that they should go eat with the commander, Rune has a sudden wave of amnesia, forgetting what she was doing, but feeling like she was supposed to meet someone and runs off. Akane and Rikka, who showed up at one point, run after Rune to make sure she's alright, with Memphis and Edinburgh finishing their lunch. Lunch ends, and Rune and Akane still haven't returned or responded to any of Rikka's texts. Miss Purity tells everyone to take their seats as class is now in session. Edinburgh almost drifts off to sleep before being violently awakened by her phone getting a text from Hiryu. Purity tells Edinburgh to share what she received with the class, that being a picture of the schoolyard that faces the ocean, but it has a silhouette of a dinosaur in the distance. Rikka identifies them as some kind of kaiju, attempting to explain what they are to Memphis before being cut off by Edinburgh, who wants to go outside for a better look. A siren goes off, telling everyone to evacuate to the gym as soon as possible, to which the class evacuates. While on their way to the gym, Edinburgh notices Yume is looking for something and asks what she's looking for, Yume says she dropped something earlier, but quietly says to herself that she wouldn't be able to fight kaiju without it. Edinburgh notices someone is outside walking towards them with the kaiju. Yume uses her phone to zoom in on the person and recognizes her as Mujina. Edinburgh asks Yume if she knows them, with Yume admitting that there is some history between them. Yume brings up the Kaiju Eugenesis, a group that Mujina is a part of, and explains to Memphis that they're a group who want to let kaiju run rampant. Yume thought they defeated them last time. Purity hurries the group along. Rikka resists a bit due to Akane still not being present, but is reassured that she's probably somewhere safe. Rikka then calls Akane to see where she is. The call goes through, and Akane says that she has the kaiju in check. Rikka asks what she means, with Akane explaining that she stopped the kaiju in its tracks, using Rune's rigging and her main battery to stop it. A boom is heard over the phone. Rikka asks worriedly what it was. Akane responds by saying it was front rows to a concerto of cannon fire. Memphis notices the kaiju stops moving, and Rune can be heard over the phone taunting anyone who dares get in her way. Akane reassures Rikka not to worry about her, and she'll wrap things up on her end before hanging up. Rikka tells the others that she's doing just fine. Rune and Akane make it back to the group, who are now in the schoolyard. Edinburgh asks if Rune has teamed up with a kaiju, with Rune saying that it was just her rigging. Rune begins explaining that she knew something was wrong, with Memphis and Edinburgh forgetting something important. With this feeling being confirmed when the two didn't recognize Rune's rigging. Rune attempts to jog the memory of the two by saying ship girls, then port, with Commander finally jogging their memory. Rune realized that the feeling she felt at lunch was due to her missing the Commander, and the three begin trying to figure out how to get out of the situation. Rikka and Yume are confused by the situation, with Rune telling them to ask Akane as she knows. Rikka asks Akane what's going on, with Akane starting that it all began when she got a proposal. Akane explains that a few days ago while on break, she was sleeping at home. Rikka chimes in, saying that she remembers going to the plaza, then she was in class as usual, then saying she has these holes in her memory. Yume agrees and says her head has been foggy lately. Rikka asks if this world is Akane's doing. Akane says that it isn't, but unlike the rest of the group who is pulled in without their knowledge, Akane was invited here by the Sirens, which reminds Akane of how she used to make kaijus. Yume asks why Mujina is here, and if it was possible that she also got an invitation from the Sirens to, quote, a world where kaiju still exist. Akane believes that Mujina is also being deceived, as she was led to believe that she would have a normal life in this world by the Sirens. Edinburgh rallies the group to head to the gym to find Purity, with Rune suggesting that they should find the other ship girls and friends from the other world around the school. The group is now in the school clinic, where they meet Namiko, Haas, and Ryujo. Rikka didn't realize that Namiko and Haas were at school as well, with Namiko and Haas reminding her that they were with her this morning at the plaza. Ryujo tells Rikka not to rush, and to take her time to sort her memories after the Siren's tricks. Namiko explains that she and Haas are in the clinic because Haas wanted to take a picture of the kaiju, with Ryujo accompanying them to protect the two. Namiko then mentions that she captured Purity, with Ryujo beginning to explain how they did so. They then drag out Purity, who is still convinced that she is a teacher at the school, being nothing like the purifier that they know. Rune prompts Memphis to feed her some knowledge to see if it jogs her memory. After explaining, Purity has a small inkling of what's going on in the back of her mind, and asks what their enemy purifier has to do with her. Namiko agrees with her point, saying that the two sound pretty different, with Akane chiming in that she may be acting, but Memphis is convinced that she isn't. Yume gets a text from Chise asking if they're alright after seeing the explosion. Ryujo then suggests that they should find more people. Akane, Haas, Namiko, Rikka, and Purity are still in the clinic. Akane hatches a plan to see if she can convince Purity to fight with her special rigging. Ryujo manages to round up the other ship girls into the school auditorium. Soryu, Hiryu, Kasumi, and Hermione. Soryu was on the disciplinary committee, Hiryu was a delinquent, Kasumi was in the occult club, which was about to be disbanded, and Hermione was the nurse in the clinic. Hermione explains that she wasn't at the clinic because she was evacuating with Spee. Edinburgh complains about the character settings the Sirens have assigned to them, especially her falling asleep in class. Chise Asukagawa then introduces herself, with Hiryu recognizing her as the girl she ran into earlier. Akane introduces someone named Alexis Crisis, someone Purity designed after Akane gave her information to design him. Yume also gave Purity the designs for Dino Wing and Dino Rex, with Purity being able to design them all as well. Purity explains that she was able to design the riggings due to her having access to some kind of database after being persuaded by Rune's rigging. With new rigging in hand, the group moves towards the northeast sector of town. Akane notices that the town is completely empty, as the Sirens have dropped the illusion. Chise brings up that she saw Mujina, but Yume already knew that. Chise is surprised by this, and realizes that Rune was the one who defeated the kaiju earlier. She also mentions that when she saw Mujina, she looked agitated and not like she was off to dominate kaiju. The group continues and moves to find the mastermind behind the plan. After some fighting, the town slowly begins disappearing and begins reverting back into a normal island. Yume asks the ship girls if they've been fighting the Sirens for long. Ryujo and Memphis explain that they have, and that they've also appeared suddenly in their world. Yume notices an airplane flying above her and asks Ryujo if she can launch one as well. Ryujo explains that her rigging isn't able to launch carrier-based aircraft. Yume then asks if she can ride on one of the planes, with Ryujo turning her down immediately. Meanwhile, in the northwest sector of town, Chise, Hiryu, and Soryu are surveying the island to look for kaiju and the others. The three talk while looking for the kaiju and the others, with Chise calling the two carrier senpai and explaining how she uses Goldburn, a kaiju, which is currently part of her rigging, to fight. Back at the clinic, Haas, Namiko, Purity, Hermione, and Kasumi are still sitting around. Now that they have their riggings, Haas and Namiko want to go and use them. Haas asks Hermione what she does back at the port, with Hermione responding that she helps out around the office, manages the fleet, and does special jobs for Her Highness and the Commander. Namiko, Haas, Kasumi, and Purity view this as an innuendo, and urges Hermione to tell them more about these special jobs. Their conversation is interrupted by scouts that Purity made, raising the alarm that Sirens have been spotted at the nearby sea. Kasumi says to notify Spee about it so that she can tell everyone else. Now in the southwest sector, Rune believes that the incoming Sirens are just mass-produced ships. Rikka suggests talking things through with them before launching an attack, and have a surprise attack lined up just in case the other side doesn't feel like talking. The group of Rune, Edinburgh, Akane, and Rikka then launch their attack. The group catches up to Mujina, who explains that she's searching for the kaiju because she can't control it. Soryu interrogates Mujina to see what the Sirens offered her. Mujina is surprised that she knows of the dealing, but then explains that the Sirens invited her to this world where she can control as many kaiju as her heart desired, and gave her special rigging, with her ability to control the kaiju after coming to the island being non-existent. Soryu picks up on the kaiju being the only way of leaving the island and offers an alliance to Mujina, which she accepts. After fighting some ships, Kasumi spots something massive heading towards the group. As it comes out of the water, a massive kaiju makes itself known, and it looks pretty familiar. Purity attempts to run away, but is stopped by Rune, who wants to try and fight it because of the numbers advantage. After attacking, every shot and bomb dropped on it seemed to not even leave a scratch, bouncing off its body. The group is sent into disarray as Rune refuses to retreat, and the kaiju attacks block the others off from her. Edinburgh manages to get a hold of the situation and retreats with most of the group, while Yume goes off to take care of things. The group retreats back to the school, with Akane commenting on how the kaiju must be the key to leaving the Mirror Sea. The group tries to brainstorm what to do about the kaiju, until Purity brings up a self-proclaimed great idea. She talks about how the kaiju kept looking at her, and the moment she made eye contact, blueprints and weapon designs flashed through her head. Soryu draws a conclusion that Purity and Mujina are the greatest threats to the kaiju out of all of them, due to Purity being a siren and Mujina having the ability to control kaiju. Purity says that to defeat the kaiju, she needs to regain her powers, to which the group reluctantly agrees, but only if she doesn't immediately attack them. Back out at sea, Edinburgh and Yume have a conversation about HMS Belfast, Edinburgh's younger sister, and how Edinburgh constantly lives in Belfast's shadow. Yume cheers her up and convinces her that now is the chance to prove herself, especially as Yume now declares Edinburgh as the flagship. Edinburgh rushes off to talk with the others, while Yume cheers her on. After defeating some sirens, Soryu and Hiryu notice that the other sirens have started to move due to them being made aware that the group is going after their control devices, especially after Purity has become the size of a kaiju. While Purity does her thing, Akane ogles her, with Rikka judging her as they're in the middle of a mission. The fight carries on. The group finally reach the kaiju, with Purity making a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure joke when facing the kaiju. The rest of the group move to support Purity while she fights the kaiju. After a very long battle, the group manages to defeat the kaiju, with it turning to light due to it being a replica made by the sirens. Purity also disappears. Same with the school and the town. The ship girls offer to bring back the Gridman girls to the port so that they aren't left behind. A final transmission from Admiral Grafspy is made that reports back to the port that they all appear to be safe, and that Edinburgh has something to tell Belfast. For the ship girl profile summaries, the elite ships will be covered first, and then the super rare. Voice lines and history will be condensed into a short combined section. Namiko is an elite heavy cruiser from the Quad S faction and is a classmate of Haas and Rikka. She is only available during the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner. Namiko enjoys gossip, sweets, was previously part of her high school tea ceremony club, and is fairly tomboy-like. She constantly asks the commander if they have any gossip, almost goes through their mail to find said gossip, or recommends different cafes or sweets to the commander, but also takes the time to help the commander. In her character art, Namiko wears a button-down white shirt with tie, black skirt, red cardigan with stripes tied around her waist, and white high-top sneakers. She also has a pin in her hair. Her rigging is based on the Battle Tracto Max and consists of two mechanical arms, the right wielding the Gridman caliber, both arms having 3-barreled naval cannons above the fist, 2-barreled naval cannons above the waist, and 2 single-barreled cannons at the shoulders. The ground underneath Namiko is cracked, with flames and steam surrounding her. At level 125, with everything maxed, Namiko has 4,111 HP, 240 firepower, 218 torpedo, 213 AA, 181 reload, 40 evasion, medium armor, 24 speed, 131 accuracy, 55 luck, 0 anti-sub, and consumes 11 oil. Namiko's skills focus on dealing damage, firing barrages, and spawning shields. When at level 10, every 20 seconds, her skill Caliber End executes a level 10 Gridman caliber slashing attack, and spawns a shield that lasts 8 seconds and can block up to 10 shots. At level 10, every 15 seconds, her skill Tanker Cannon has a 70% chance to fire a level 10 special barrage. It also enhances Namiko's secondary guns if she has the Battle Tracto Max equipped. The recommended equipment for Namiko is any higher rarity heavy cruiser gun such as the triple 203mm SHS, any higher rarity torpedo like the 533mm quad homing torpedoes, and any higher rarity AA gun like the octuple 40mm pom-pom. For Ox equipment, the Battle Tracto Max for the increase to her secondary guns, and the Type 93 torpedo for improved torpedo damage. Alternatively, you could switch out the Tracto Max for VH armor plating. Namiko is a good middle ground for the Quad S girls in the Vanguard fleet, but is definitely outshined by Rikka, Yume, and Haas. Her Caliber End barrage does good damage and ignores shields, while her Tanker Cannon barrage deals HE damage. But the barrages done by the other girls are much better and proc quicker than 20 seconds. Mujina is an elite battleship from the Quad S faction and is part of the Kaiju Eugenist group. She is only available through the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner. Mujina is obsessed with kaijus, doesn't like work whatsoever, and tries to find any opportunity to go back to her room. Gives small bits of advice to the commander, is mild-mannered, for the most part, and is admittedly over 5,000 years old. In her character art, Mujina wears a uniform similar to a military dress uniform. She wears a long white pea coat with golden accents, epaulettes and buttons, purple short pants, a purple and white shirt that can barely contain her bust, and white high-heeled boots. Her rigging is very similar to the kaiju Gagula behind her and the coat she wears, being white and gold in color while also having red and dark purple accents. On both sides of the rigging, Mujina has two triple-barreled naval guns. A ruined building stands behind her, along with Gagula standing over the building. At level 125 with everything maxed, Mujina has 7,766 HP, 399 firepower, 197 AA, 138 reload, 40 evasion, heavy armor, 30 speed, 62 accuracy, 55 luck, and consumes 14 oil. Mujina's skills focus on controlling enemy aircraft and weaponry. At level 10, every 20 seconds, her skill Instant Domination Wings seizes control of Siren aircraft and makes them attack enemies. The aircraft deal cannon-type damage. At level 10, every time Mujina fires her main guns, her skill Instant Domination Flames seizes control of Siren weaponry and makes them attack enemies. The recommended equipment for Mujina is the twin 381mm Mark II for her main gun, as it has some of the quickest reloads for any higher rarity battleship gun, any high rarity light cruiser gun, and any higher rarity AA gun. For aux equipment, the autoloader and high performance fire control radar will help proc her second skill much quicker. Alternatively, you could use two autoloaders or the super heavy and Type 1 armor-piercing shells for increased crit chance and crit damage. Mujina's skills make her pretty unique when compared to other battleships, as she'll be able to turn her enemies' weapons and airplanes against them. By having the recommended equipment, her second skill will proc much more often than normal and will turn a decent portion of enemies against their former friends. Her first skill would be better if it kept the types of planes as they were instead of converting them to cannon damage. The final of the elite rarity ships is the elite rarity light cruiser Haas, a classmate of Rikka and Namiko. She is only available during the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner. Haas is a close friend of Namiko and Rikka, was a streamer in her previous world, enjoys sweets, much like Namiko, has a laid-back attitude, enjoys taking videos and looking for content, gaming, and cats. In her character art, Haas wears a white button-down shirt similar to Namiko, but has a red ribbon instead of a tie, a dark blue skirt, has a light blue cardigan around her waist, wears black leather loafers with knee-high socks, has her hair tied into a ponytail with a green scrunchie, wears a white face mask, and is sitting on a dock cleat. Her rigging is based on the Buster Bore, having 4 twin-barreled naval cannons on both sides, 2 drills above her shoulders, and 2 triple torpedo mounts at the front of her rigging. Steam and green wind surrounds her. At level 125 with everything maxed, Haas has 3,653 HP, 142 firepower, 290 torpedo, 348 AA, 181 reload, 120 evasion, light armor, 33 speed, 166 accuracy, 55 luck, 144 anti-sub, and consumes 10 oil. Haas's skills focus on deploying smoke screens and launching barrages. At level 10, every 10 times Haas fires her main guns, her skill Coordinated Volley fires a level 10 special missile barrage using the Buster Bore, and deploys a smoke screen that lasts 5 seconds. When ships enter the smoke screen, any burn status is put out. At level 10, 5 seconds after the battle starts, with a 70% chance, and every 20 seconds afterwards, her skill Amp Laser Circus fires a level 10 laser barrage using the Sky Vidder, and increases Haas's AA by 8%. stacking twice per battle for a total of 16%. The recommended equipment for Haas is a fast-firing light cruiser gun such as the single 150mm C28 to proc her first skill more often, any higher rarity torpedoes such as the 533mm quad homing torpedoes, and any higher rarity AA guns. For aux equipment, having 2 autoloaders will make her first skill proc even quicker. Haas does her job well as a support light cruiser, having a skill that deploys a smokescreen, assuming that the smokescreen also increases evasion as well as extinguishing fires. It's useful for when facing enemies that have HE shells. Her second skill has a good barrage and increases her AA, further making her a good choice for the Quad S fleet. Yume is a super rare heavy cruiser from the Quad S faction, is a classmate of Chise, and has fought against Mujina and the Kaiju Eugenicist group in the past. She is only available during the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner. Yume is a very awkward girl who tries to remain collected. She doesn't enjoy places with lots of people, dislikes Kaiju because she fought so many in the past, but still wants to make sure she's useful even though she's socially awkward. In her character art, Yume wears a dark blue blazer with golden buttons, a beige and striped sweater underneath, with a white shirt collar coming out the top, a black skirt, tights, and brown loafers with wings on the side. Her rigging is based off of the Dino Wing, the part of the DYNAZENON she piloted in the anime, with Yume having wings coming off her back, 2 twin naval cannons coming from her hips, and wielding a laser sword in her right hand, with Dino Wing in the back. There is a lot of steam being released from behind her. At level 125 with everything maxed, Yume has 5,361 HP, 251 firepower, 252 AA, 76 evasion, medium armor, 25 speed, 154 accuracy, 55 luck, and consumes 12 oil. Yume's skills focus on firing barrages, breaking armor, and increasing her own evasion. At level 10, every 20 times Yume fires her secondary guns, her skill Blazing Inferno Rex Roar fires a level 10 Blazing Inferno Rex Roar. At level 10, for 90 seconds after the battle starts, her skill Something Beam increases Yume's evasion by 15%, and every 18 seconds, she fires a level 10 beam using the Penetrator gun, which inflicts armor break, which increases damage taken by enemy ships. At level 10, every 10 times Yume fires her main guns, her skill DYNAZENON Full Burst fires a level 10 Special Barrage. The recommended equipment for Yume is a quick-firing main and secondary gun to proc the barrages faster. For the main gun, something like the Triple 305 prototype works well, while having the secondary gun be the Triple 102 Mark IX, as they both have high rounds per minute. AA guns can be the usual higher rarity equipment, and for aux equipment, having 2 autoloaders would help her get her barrages even quicker. Alternatively, you could also equip the dynamic cannon on Yume as well. With all of her skills launching some sort of barrage, Yume is able to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, especially if you have guns with high rounds per second, along with having a skill that boosts her evasion for the first 90 seconds of battle, which is about half the battle time. But she doesn't have access to torpedoes whatsoever, and her efficiency with her secondary gun is very low, being 65% max. Overall, she's much better than the heavy cruiser Namiko and works well with the rest of the Quad S team. Chise is a super rare aircraft carrier from the Quad S faction, is a classmate of Yume, and has fought against Mujina and the Kaiju Eugenicist group in the past. She is only available during the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner, and from the event store. Chise is very energetic, likes to tease the commander a lot, enjoys gaming, going out on missions, eating sweets, and her kaiju named Goldburn. However, she doesn't like school, doing work, staying in one place for too long, and friend zones you after you oath her. In her character art, Chise wears a bright red sleeveless tank top, has a choker, a bracelet on her right wrist, an arm guard for Goldburn to rest on her left arm, a black skirt, a silver belt, red platform boots, and has her hair tied into braided ponytails. Goldburn is hovering just above her, with an aircraft carrier deck seen above him. Waves of water surround Chise. At level 125 with everything maxed, Chise has 7,175 HP, 408 evasion, 316 AA, 146 reload, 50 evasion, medium armor, 28 speed, 90 accuracy, 55 luck, and consumes 13 oil. Chise's skills focus on launching airstrikes and shielding the Vanguard fleet. At level 10, her skill Ride the Wind starts Chise with 1 airstrike ready. Every battle, when Chise launches her second airstrike and onwards, she launches an additional level 10 special airstrike of aimed torpedoes. At level 10, her skill Take to the Skies, whenever Chise launches her first and third airstrikes, she launches a level 10 bombing raid using Goldburn, and spawns a shield around the Vanguard that lasts for 10 seconds, reduces the Vanguard's damage taken by 8%, and can block up to 15 shots. The recommended equipment would be planes that have a quick reload, such as the Messerschmitt Me-155A for fighters, Chise Model 12A for dive bombers, and the Ferry Barracuda for torpedo bombers. For aux equipment, using a steam catapult to increase reload and aviation, along with Goldburn for further increased reload, as well as HP and a special support barrage 25 seconds into the battle, if Chise is your flagship. Chise is who I'd recommend for the flagship of the Quad S fleet, as it directly benefits the whole fleet if she has Goldburn equipped. Launching an additional special airstrike from her second airstrike onwards, as well as spawning a shield, allows Chise to deal a large amount of damage while protecting the Vanguard fleet. Akane is a super rare battleship from the Quad S faction, is a classmate of Rikka, Namiko, and Haas, and has created kaiju in the past. She is only available during the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner. Akane enjoys kaijus and creating kaijus, has a very lackadaisical attitude towards most situations, enjoys teasing the commander, reading, watching the ship girls fight with their riggings, inspecting the riggings, and fighting enemies. In her character art, Akane wears a tight-fitting, button-down white shirt with a teal bow, a partially unzipped purple hoodie, black skirt with a teal inside and ripped tights. The kaiju she's sitting on and is being dragged into is based on Alexis Carib, the main antagonist of Gridman and manipulator of Akane. To her right and left, there are 2 triple naval cannons, with 2 twin naval cannons above them. Alexis is seen wading through the water and destroying smaller ships that get in his way. At level 125 with everything maxed, Akane has 7,820 HP, 434 firepower, 360 AA, 157 reload, 36 evasion, heavy armor, 26 speed, 66 accuracy, 55 luck, and consumes 15 oil. Akane's skill focuses on launching barrages, airstrikes, which is a weird thing for a battleship, and keeping her health topped up. At level 10, her skill Energy Pulse has a 70% chance to launch a level 10 special barrage, causing a large explosion and deals HE damage. At level 10, every 20 seconds, her skill Instance Abreaction activates a level 10 special airstrike, dropping bombs and deals cannon-type damage. At level 10, her skill Ever-Burning Flame increases Akane's firepower by 8%, and once per battle, when her health falls below 30% from taking damage, her firepower is increased by 10% and she's healed 4 times for 2% max HP per tick. The recommended equipment for Akane is the twin 381mm Mark II for its quick reload, allowing for the proc of her first skill to happen more often, with any higher rarity light cruiser or destroyer, and AA gun. For aux equipment, 2 autoloaders is useful for proccing her first skill often, or the super heavy and type 1 armor piercing shells for increasing crit chance and crit damage. Akane can do a lot of damage very quickly, getting an 8% buff to firepower, and is able to launch airstrikes due to her second skill without needing to be a carrier or an aviation battleship. Her third skill, healing her while under 30% HP, is a nice benefit, but requiring her to go below 30% HP for a 10% firepower buff isn't something that players are going to do often as strategy. Overall, Akane makes a very good addition to the Quad S fleet. The final super rare ship and final ship overall is Rikka, a super rare rarity light cruiser from the Quad S faction, and is a classmate of Akane, Namiko, and Haas. She is only available during the limited World-Spanning Arclight banner. Rikka's family runs a pawn shop and cafe where she sometimes helps out, giving her the knowledge to, quote, brew coffee properly. Rikka enjoys hanging out with her friends, drinking different types of juices, coffees, and sodas, and helping the commander. In her character art, Rikka wears a beige and black cardigan and has a badge on her left breast, a white button-down shirt with a red ribbon, a very high-up black skirt, a brown bracelet with a bird on it, dark brown loafers with red socks, and thighs for days. Her rigging consists of 2 twin naval cannons and quad torpedo launchers on both sides. At level 125 with everything maxed, Rikka has 4,655 HP, 181 firepower, 374 torpedo, 395 AA, 195 reload, 121 evasion, light armor, 35 speed, 163 accuracy, 55 luck, 165 anti-sub, and consumes 11 oil. Rikka's skills focus on firing barrages, increasing her own stats, and healing herself. At level 10, her skill Grid Beam increases Rikka's FP by 15% for 90 seconds after the battle starts. Every 20 seconds, she fires a level 10 Grid Beam. If Rikka has the Battle Tracto Max or Buster Bore equipped, or if she's sorted with Namiko or Haas, the skill is enhanced. When equipped with the Buster Bore or sorted with Haas, her barrage does more damage. At level 10, her skill Slash and Circus increases Rikka's AA by 15% and decreases her cannon damage taken by 8% for 90 seconds after the battle starts. 5 seconds after the battle starts and every 30 seconds after that, Rikka fires a level 10 special barrage. If she has the Gridman caliber or Sky Vitter equipped, or if she's sorted with Namiko or Haas, this skill is enhanced. When equipped with the Gridman caliber, or when sorted with Namiko, this attack has 10 pierce and inflicts armor break. When equipped with the Sky Vitter, or when sorted with Haas, this attack ignores shields. At level 10, 40 seconds after the battle starts, her skill Grid Fixer Beam fires a level 10 Grid Fixer Beam and heals the fleet 3 times for 1% max HP per tick, 5 ticks total. Once per battle, when Rikka's HP falls below 50% as a result of damage taken, she heals the fleet. The recommended equipment for Rikka is the Battle Tracto Max, Buster Bore, Dynamic Cannon, Gridman Caliber, and Sky Vitter. The Tracto, Bore, Caliber, and Vitter all have enhanced effects when equipped to Rikka, as well as replacing certain attacks with special attacks. The Dynamic Cannon is useful for the Special Support Barrage launched 12 seconds after the battle starts. Rikka is a very unique ship, being a light cruiser who can equip not only the normal equipment to her equipment slots, but also auxiliary equipment to all of her slots. She's hands down the best ship to come from the event, having great stats, skills, both of which are further enhanced by the equipment, and she can easily find a good slot into any fleet, not just the Quad S one. Briefly going over the different equipment that is available from World-Spanning Arclight and what they do when fully enhanced. Battle Tracto Max, plus 28 FP, plus 18 evasion, when equipped by Rikka, improves Pattern of Grid Beam and replaces her main gun with a special main gun. Buster Bore, plus 50 torpedo, when equipped by Rikka, improves Pattern of Grid Beam, replaces her torpedo with special torpedo. Dynamic Cannon, plus 35 FP, changes BGM when equipped. If the frontmost ship in the Vanguard is a light cruiser, heavy cruiser, or large cruiser, it launches a special support barrage 12 seconds after the battle starts. Goldburn, plus 640 HP, changes BGM when equipped. If the ship with this gear equipped is in your Vanguard or is a Quad S Collab character, increase the ship's reload by 38. If your flagship is an aircraft carrier or light aircraft carrier, it launches a special support barrage 25 seconds after the battle starts. Gridman Caliber, plus 35 evasion. When equipped by Rikka, improve the attack pattern of her slash and circus skill, and triggers an additional torpedo barrage every 20 seconds. Skyvitter, plus 65 AAA. When equipped by Rikka, improve the attack pattern of her slash and circus skill, replaces her AA gun with a special AA gun. Overall, I'd say this event was a pretty good one for how collab events are, especially when compared to the burning trash heap that was the Idolmaster event that came before it. Out of all the ships, there is only one, Namiko, that wasn't really as good as the others, but that's not to say that she's bad, just outclassed by the rest of them. Each ship can easily be used in any fleet due to their stats and skills. Story's okay, but it kind of requires a player to be fan of the Quad S series, otherwise the characters and references made to the anime stories kind of fall flat. I didn't watch the anime ever, and I don't really have an interest in it, but outside that, characters are good, the story's kind of goofy, it's alright. Overall, I'd give the World-Spanning Arclight Event S for ships, A for equipment, B for story, and an A for skins. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter for updates on when videos are coming out, and please check out my other Azur Lane and Arknight videos as well.